The lead petitioner, Anuta Zack, will have 5 minutes to speak to address the Council on this petition. The time starts now. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, Councillors, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing us to present our petition and to speak at this meeting. The petition has over 5,500 signatures, representing local residents' concerns and objections to Ballymore and TFL proposed master plan. This would be the biggest change to Edgware in 100 years, but unlike the arrival of the underground, it brings no progress. It will in fact disadvantage the disabled, elderly and vulnerable.
Edgware, as a functioning town, would be decimated. We would lose our bus station, our covered shopping centre, our only car park, and gain one of the densest, if not the densest, developments in the country, with no clear plans for supporting infrastructure. That the council may receive money to support infrastructure is meaningless without a clear, costed, accompanying plan to show how it will be used to address the issues created by the development. Edgware Town Centre presently has almost no vacant shops. The Broadwalk, a covered shopping centre, is fully let, and we are uniquely well served with banking facilities in the town. We have a car park with over 1,000 public spaces and 200 staff spaces. We have a manned bus station that is fully enclosed, well lit, has 68 seats, a refreshment kiosk, indicator boards, and is less than a minute's covered walk from the tube station. It is a safe, well-lit, secure, protected space for the elderly and vulnerable. Indeed, Edgware is doing better than a great deal of towns, locally and nationally. What is proposed is to create the UK's first electrical underground bus garage with a bottleneck design. There are currently no established safety protocols, and no one can provide reassurance about the fire risks of electric vehicles on thermal runways. In short, Edgware's new bus garage will be an experiment, with 10,000 people proposed to sleep above it. This has undoubtedly created great anxiety, especially considering the Grenfell cladding at Premier House. The bus station is to be demolished, and instead we will have several open-air bus stops dotted around Station Road and the deceptively labelled Station Square, which is really a shallow bus gyratory roundabout. Station Road will lose a significant number of its parking spaces. This will decrease security and convenience and increase traffic and congestion. Edgware's transport interchange currently benefits from a much used and valued pick-up and drop-off point, which is being lost. If replaced at all, it will be out of sight of the station and caught in a one-way system. Ballymore and TFL propose 3,828 units on a 7.2 hectare site, equating to a population density of 139,000 people per square kilometre. The present densest development in the UK is Mill Harbour at 90,000 people per square kilometre. The population density of Hong Kong is 110,000 people per square kilometre for context. The sheer scale, mass and density is of an unprecedented scale and doesn't follow what is deemed best practice environmentally. This gross overdevelopment is informed by the Edgware Growth Area SPD. This policy was passed in 2021 during COVID and lockdown with the engagement of 219 people in a town of close to 80,000 people. We cannot believe that the required level of consultation for major changes of policy was met in this case. Cabinet Office consultation principles, updated in 2018, require public bodies to make clear, concise, targeted consultations, and this just did not happen here. The National Planning Policy Framework, which governs all new developments in the UK, maintains, in section 11B, a presumption that new buildings should not be at density significantly out of character with the existing area. Surely there couldn't be a clearer contravention of this principle. Now, instead of the Broadwalk car park, the only public car park, there will be 250 Sainsbury's spaces below the relocated store, usually 500 for a full-size superstore. The 10,000 new residents will have 425 dedicated parking spaces. There will be no staff parking, meaning the space designated even for a potential medical centre comes with no parking. So how many other parking spaces will there be left to serve all of Edgware's residents, all
Your
the shoppers?
time is up. Thank you. Okay. Now, members are invited to ask questions of the lead petitioner. I would like to allow 2 questions per group with a total time allocation of 5 minutes in total. I will take the questions from the administration first. We have got names here. Councillor Cook.
Planning committees make their decision on the basis of whether applications can be allowed under the borough development plan. When the current borough development plan was developed under the previous Conservative administration in 2021, I'd like to know whether the residents realised they could contribute to that plan, or does it seem there was a failure by the council at that time to ensure residents knew there was such an opportunity to do so?
Would you like to answer the question, please?
I can say that most residents were completely unaware. It was in the midst of COVID. The consultation started in January 2020 and terminated in March 2021. We were mainly locked down or shielding. So I lived within meters of this development. I had absolutely no idea. I can say that probably all of the people here, nobody knew about it at all.
Thank you. Now, can I ask a Conservative member to ask a question? Do you want, anyone wants to ask a question? Yeah, Councillor Cohen.
Yeah, I think the member of public who was speaking didn't get a chance to finish her deputation or her speech on her thing. Perhaps she can finish it.
So you're asking a question to finish it? Is that your question?
Asking if she's if she's still got more to say. That's the question.
I could say that we're going to have 94 parking spaces for a catchment area the Barnet Council in 2013 deemed 400,000 people. How many of the existing retailers will survive a 10-year build and the loss of car parking? We don't think many. Far from being the proclaimed regeneration of Edgware, we think it's the death knell of our town centre. On behalf of the 5,500 signatures to the petition, we ask you to do the right thing by Edgware.
Thank you. Councillor Nagby. Can you ask your question, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I suppose I'm interested in understanding why residents and the lead petitioner felt that this was the correct forum in which to raise this particular issue. I would have thought that had they consulted with their local elected representatives in the ward, they would have told them the impropriety of bringing a quasi-judicial decision to full council, which isn't empowered to make such decisions. But succinctly put, I suppose my question is, are residents aware that the most we, the full council today, will be able to achieve is to put together or instruct officers to put together a report to be presented to the Strategic Planning Committee as and when a planning application is submitted to the local planning authority? Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to answer that question?
I don't have your experience on planning applications, but we're not objecting to, there is no planning applications. This is a ginormous proposal. I did a survey in Edgware for who knew that Edgware was Barnet's only major town. 4 people knew. So don't expect me to understand the nuances of council. But what we do know is that we haven't been heard. 219 people were consulted. And we're suddenly faced with towers and density that is unheard of. And it's not unreasonable for the residents of a town that is going to be decimated to want to be heard. But it's also a giant proposal. It's not one planning application. It's a whole concept.
Yeah. I've got 37 seconds, but you can, a quick question if you want to ask from the Conservative, because I want to give equal chances. If not, we will move on to speakers. Yeah, speakers? Okay, thank you. So, following, we will then take up 8 minutes for debate with 2 speakers per group for up to 2 minutes each.